The blackness of space was vast and quiet, but the Andromeda system was about to witness a storm. Far beyond the reaches of known human colonies, a shadow moved swiftly. It was not a shadow in the usual sense. It was alive, and it radiated fear across the stars. The apex predator had arrived. Across the universe, it was known as the most feared being. No fleet, no army, no intelligence had ever defeated it. Yet, as it approached the outskirts of human colonization, it sensed something different. On the human side, the colony of Goryo Prime was alive with the usual energy of a frontier outpost. Ships were docked, engineers were busy with repairs, and the hum of the city reached even the docking bays. Jun Seo, a young starship pilot, moved through the corridors of the main station, checking every instrument. His hands were steady, and his eyes were sharp. He had faced dangerous missions before, but nothing like this. He did not know that the most terrifying predator in the galaxy was heading their way. HFY, the science officer of the colony, was in the observation deck. She studied the distant stars and the readings from nearby sensors. Something in the energy readings made her pause. There was a pattern of movement that did not match any known ship or fleet. She frowned. Jun Seo, she called through the communicator. You need to see this. Jun Seo rushed to the observation deck. His eyes widened as he looked at the holographic projection of the Andromeda outskirts. There, a massive presence moved like a shadow through the stars. It was enormous, larger than any ship they had ever seen. Its energy signature was strange, powerful, and deadly. Could it be a new alien fleet? Jun Seo asked. HFY shook her head. No fleet could produce this kind of energy. This is something else. Something alive. They both understood the weight of the moment. Humanity had expanded into space with courage, but they were still young. Few colonies had strong defenses. Most alien species ignored humans as weak and insignificant. But this presence was different. It moved with purpose. It hunted. It sensed life. It sensed humanity. In the distance, the apex predator observed the colony. It had crossed countless systems, devoured species, and conquered entire worlds. But humans were new. They were small, fragile, and yet they emitted something the predator could not understand. It sensed curiosity, unpredictability, and courage. There was a strange spark in them that made the predator pause. Back on Goryo Prime, the Colony Council convened in an emergency meeting. Min-suk, the chief engineer, and Yuna, the communications officer, joined Jun Seo and HFY. They quickly shared the data and discussed possible strategies. We don't know what we are facing, Min-suk said. If it's hostile, we need to prepare defenses immediately. Yuna added, I'm trying to communicate with nearby colonies, but they might not respond in time. We are on our own. HFY turned to the group. The energy readings are unlike anything in our database. We need to study its movement and patterns. If we understand even a little, we might survive. Jun Seo clenched his fists. Then we fight. Humans have faced impossible odds before, and we won't back down now. The apex predator continued its approach, unaware that its presence had already sent ripples of fear and determination among the humans. It had expected to find weak, unorganized prey. But the humans were preparing, and their fearlessness intrigued it. In all its travels, nothing had ever challenged its instinct. Nothing had ever made it pause. The colony worked tirelessly. Engineers reinforced the shields of the station and outfitted a few starships with experimental weapons. Scientists studied the predator's energy patterns, trying to find weaknesses. Everyone in the colony understood that survival depended on unity and quick thinking. As night fell on Goryo Prime, the stars above seemed to shine brighter, reflecting the tension in the air. Jun Seo and HFY prepared for a reconnaissance mission. They would take a small ship out to gather more data on the predator, hoping to understand its intentions before it reached the colony. The ship launched quietly, slipping through the darkness. June SEO piloted with precision, while HFY monitored the instruments. The Predator's presence loomed closer with every light year. It was massive, with a dark, shimmering surface that absorbed the surrounding light. Its movements were graceful yet terrifying. For the first time, the Predator noticed the small ship. It tilted slightly, almost curious. No prey had ever dared approach it so boldly. June SEO spoke calmly to HFY. "Keep recording everything. Every movement, every energy spike. We need data, not fear." HFY nodded, her hands moving over the console. "It's unlike anything I've ever seen. Its energy signature changes constantly. It's adapting to our sensors." The Predator, sensing the human's presence, decided to investigate. It moved closer, faster than any human could track. Yet, June SEO's instincts and HFY's calculations kept them just out of reach. For a moment, there was a strange connection, a silent recognition between hunter and prey. The Predator felt something new, a challenge. The humans were unpredictable. They were fearless. They were alive in a way that mattered. Back on the colony, alarms blared as sensors detected the Predator's proximity. People ran to stations, gripping consoles and weapons. Minsuk adjusted the defenses, while Yuna scrambled communications to alert nearby ships. Every heartbeat in the colony was synchronized with the tension outside. Junesio maneuvered the ship to make a daring pass near the Predator. It watched them, analyzing their tactics. Unlike other species, humans did not panic. They did not flee. They acted with intelligence, strategy, and courage. This was unusual. The Predator had never seen prey fight back in such a way. As the reconnaissance mission ended, June SEO and HFY returned to Goryeo Prime with the first full data of the Predator. The colony studied the findings quickly, realizing that conventional weapons might not be enough. They would have to rely on ingenuity, teamwork, and courage to survive. That night, as the colony settled into tense preparation, June SEO looked out into the stars. The apex predator was coming, and humanity would face its deadliest test yet. But in that quiet moment, he felt a sense of pride. Humans were small, yes, but they were brave. They were unpredictable. They were alive in a way that no predator had ever feared, until now. The sky above Goryeo Prime was filled with a faint glow from the distant stars, but the darkness beyond was alive with danger. The apex predator had grown aware of the colony's defenses. It could feel the tension, the preparation, and the determination. For the first time, it sensed that this small species might be more than just prey. June SEO stood on the bridge of the colony's main defense vessel. He watched the sensors carefully. The predator's energy signature grew stronger, moving closer to the planet's orbit. His hands gripped the controls. "All units on alert," he ordered. "We don't know what it's capable of. Stay sharp." HFY joined him at the console. Her eyes were wide with focus. "I've analyzed the scans from our reconnaissance. Its patterns are unusual. It doesn't just attack blindly. It studies its prey first. We need to stay unpredictable." Minsuk, the chief engineer, ran into the bridge, holding a datapad. "June SEO, HFY, I finished upgrading the weapons systems on our smaller vessels. They're experimental, but they might give us an edge." Yuna, monitoring communications, spoke up. "Nearby colonies are still responding. We might get reinforcements, but timing will be tight. We have to hold our ground until then." The predator approached cautiously, moving with calculated precision. Its surface shimmered as it scanned the colony, absorbing energy from the nearby stars and asteroids. It had attacked countless species before, but humans were different. They did not panic. They did not flee. Instead, they prepared, and that made the predator pause. Suddenly, a small fleet of human ships moved to intercept. Jun Seo piloted one of the lead ships, with HFY guiding him through the complex maneuvers. The humans did not aim to destroy the predator outright. Their strategy was to confuse, distract, and study. They needed to understand their opponent. The first encounter was tense. The predator unleashed a wave of energy that rippled through space, testing the humans' defenses. Shields flared, weapons fired, and small explosions dotted the void. Humans moved in unexpected patterns, weaving through the predator's attacks with quick thinking and daring maneuvers. The predator grew frustrated. Its sensors were designed to predict behavior, but humans were unpredictable. Jun Seo shouted over the comms. "Stick to the plan. We need to keep it focused on us, not the colony." HFY added, "Its energy spikes are growing erratic. It's adapting, but slowly. Keep it busy." Meanwhile, Min-suk worked feverishly to adjust the station's defense turrets. He connected them to an experimental targeting system that could respond faster than the predator anticipated. Yuna relayed instructions to nearby civilian ships, turning them into decoys to confuse the predator further. The predator tried to counter, launching massive energy blasts, but the humans anticipated the attacks. They used the station's shields as a barrier and redirected some energy back at the predator. For the first time, the creature felt resistance. Its instincts told it to strike, but every attack was met with ingenuity. Every move was anticipated. "Keep pressing it," Jun Seo yelled. "We're learning its patterns." HFY nodded, analyzing the predator's shields. There's a moment between its attacks when its energy flow stabilizes. That's our chance. The humans exploited that moment. Small craft launched synchronized attacks on the predator's vulnerable points. Min-suk's weapons modifications worked perfectly, hitting parts of its surface that other species would never notice. Sparks and energy bursts marked each successful strike. The predator growled, a sound that resonated across space. The colony watched the battle with bated breath. People who had feared for their lives now saw the humans' courage firsthand. They saw that even against an unstoppable force, they could fight back with intelligence, unity, and heart. Jun Seo and HFY executed a daring maneuver. They lured the predator closer to the colony, where Min-suk had set traps, gravity fields and energy nets designed to slow it down. The predator, confident in its strength, fell into the trap. Its massive body was slowed, giving the humans a chance to strike at critical points. "Now!" HFY shouted. The fleet fired in unison, targeting the predator's temporary weaknesses. The energy strikes hit with precision. The predator roared in frustration and pain. It had never encountered a prey that could match its intelligence and courage. Every planet, every species, every fleet had fallen before it. But these humans were different. Yuna coordinated communications across the colony, sending real-time data to all ships. They adapted their positions continuously, making it impossible for the predator to predict their moves. It became a game of wits as much as strength. The predator's instincts told it to strike harder, faster, but the humans anticipated each move. Their creativity, coordination, and unpredictability turned the encounter into a battle of minds. Finally, the predator pulled back momentarily. It hovered near the edge of the colony's defenses, observing. It had expected fear, surrender, and chaos. Instead, it found courage, strategy, and resilience. It was forced to reconsider its approach. The humans were not weak. They were not simple. They were dangerous in a way that the predator had never imagined. Jun Seo and HFY returned to the colony with valuable data. They had seen the predator up close, learned its tactics, and survived. The colony's defenses were stronger now, and the humans were more confident. The apex predator had been tested and found that humans were capable of more than it had expected. In the quiet moments after the battle, June SEO stood on the observation deck, staring at the distant stars. HFY joined him, her eyes reflecting both concern and determination. "They're not done," she said. "The Predator will return, stronger and more focused." June SEO nodded. "Then we'll be ready. Humans have never backed down from impossible odds. We won't stop now." The colony prepared for the days ahead, knowing that survival required vigilance, courage, and intelligence. And far away, the apex predator lingered, studying humanity with newfound caution. For the first time in its existence, it realized that even the smallest species could be a challenge. Even humans could be dangerous. The apex predator had retreated only to gather more strength and observe its new adversary. Its massive body moved silently through the void, and in the darkness it considered the humans' actions. Their courage and cleverness had surprised it. They were fearless, and for the first time, the predator felt something unfamiliar, respect mixed with wariness. Back on Goryo Prime, the colony worked tirelessly. Every ship was repaired, weapons improved, and shields reinforced. June SEO and HFY oversaw the operations, coordinating with engineers and military officers. Minsuk moved through the docking bays, checking every ship for weak points, while Yuna monitored communications with nearby colonies, preparing for potential reinforcements. The humans understood the gravity of their situation. The Predator was not just any enemy. It was intelligent, adaptable, and deadly. One misstep could mean destruction. HFY spent hours studying the Predator's patterns, energy spikes, and movements from the last encounter. She noticed something others had missed. There were moments when its shield system briefly stabilized after energy attacks. If timed correctly, these moments could be exploited. June SEO trained the pilots, teaching them to anticipate these moments, while Minsuk and his engineers worked on a weapon capable of hitting the Predator's temporary weak spots. Yuna coordinated communications to ensure all ships and defense stations could act in harmony. It was humanity's ingenuity and unity against an unstoppable predator. The first sign of the Predator's return came as a subtle disturbance in space. Sensors blared alarms as the massive entity moved into the colony's outer orbit. Its presence caused tremors in the energy shields surrounding Goryo Prime. The humans braced themselves. June SEO and HFY prepared to lead a small fleet to meet it. The Predator moved deliberately, aware that the humans had studied its previous tactics. It fired massive energy pulses, testing the colony's defenses. Explosions dotted the horizon as shields absorbed the first wave. The humans responded with precision, deploying drones and smaller ships to confuse the Predator. June SEO piloted the lead ship, weaving through energy bursts, while HFY provided real-time calculations. "Move left, June SEO. Its energy pulse is lagging. Now fire." The humans struck quickly, using the Predator's brief shield stabilization as HFY predicted. Energy beams hit weak points, and for the first time, the Predator staggered. It emitted a sound that resonated across space, a mixture of pain and frustration. "Keep pushing," June SEO shouted. "We've got it on the defensive." The battle intensified. The Predator adapted, changing its attack patterns rapidly. Yet the humans matched it with ingenuity. Minsuk had modified the weapons to adjust automatically to changes in energy flow, while Yuna coordinated the fleet's movements with flawless timing. The Predator was forced into an unfamiliar situation. It could not predict the humans' next move. Small ships darted in and out, distracting the Predator, while larger vessels focused fire on the weak points identified by HFY. Sparks and energy flashes lit the darkness, showing that the humans were fighting not just with strength, but with strategy. The Predator lashed out, striking ships with tremendous force, but the humans did not panic. They had studied the creature, anticipated its moves, and now acted as one cohesive force. Each ship played a role, each action calculated. For the first time, the apex predator realized that humans were a real threat, not because of physical power, but because of intelligence and courage. HFY noticed a pattern. June SEO, its shield recalibrates every 30 seconds after an energy pulse. That's our window. June SEO nodded. Everyone, get ready for synchronized attack. We hit it at full power during that window. Minsook's weapon systems glowed with energy as the fleet prepared. Every pilot held their breath, knowing that timing and precision would determine survival. The Predator sensed the preparation and tensed. It had faced countless species, but none had coordinated with such precision. It felt the humans' determination in a way it had never experienced. At the exact moment HFY predicted, the fleet fired in unison. Energy beams, missiles, and experimental projectiles struck the Predator's weak points simultaneously. Its massive body shuddered, energy flares erupting across its surface. The Predator roared, a sound that shook even the sturdiest ships. For a moment, silence followed the assault. The humans held their positions, weapons ready, shields up. The Predator hovered, damaged but not defeated. It had underestimated these humans, and now it understood that brute force alone would not conquer them. June SEO's voice cut through the comms. It's retreating. Keep pressure on it. Don't let it recover. The Predator slowly pulled back, analyzing the humans with caution. Its curiosity had turned into a grudging respect. It had never faced prey that could match its cunning and bravery. Even as it withdrew, it calculated its next move, understanding that this species could not be ignored. Back on the colony, the humans watched the retreat, exhausted but triumphant. They had survived the first full-scale attack and learned much about their opponent. HFY quickly recorded data for future analysis. Minsook checked weapon systems, ensuring they were ready for the next encounter. June SEO and Yuna coordinated communications with nearby colonies, sharing critical information. The apex predator moved away, its mind racing. These humans were not ordinary. They were unpredictable, fearless, and intelligent. They had turned what should have been a simple hunt into a complex battle. It had been forced to adapt, and for the first time, it understood that humanity was not to be underestimated. June SEO and HFY looked at each other, relief and determination in their eyes. The battle had been won, but the war was far from over. They had faced the deadliest predator in the universe and survived through courage, intelligence, and teamwork. Humanity had proven that even against overwhelming power, ingenuity and bravery could triumph. As night fell over Goryeo Prime, the colony worked tirelessly, preparing for the inevitable return. Ships were repaired, weapons upgraded, and strategies refined. The humans had learned that survival required not just strength, but also quick thinking and unity. And far away, the apex predator watched. It had never felt fear before, but it now felt caution, respect, and an unfamiliar hesitation. Humans were dangerous, not because of size or power, but because of their unpredictability. Even the apex predator had learned that fear of humanity was not unfounded. The apex predator had pulled back to the dark void between systems, its massive form moving with calculated grace. Its attacks had been met with unexpected resistance, and the humans' ingenuity and teamwork had left a deep impression. For the first time, it felt uncertainty. No species had ever challenged it in this way. It was a predator used to being feared, used to being the apex. But these humans were different. Back on Goryeo Prime, the colony worked relentlessly. Every ship, weapon, and shield was tested and improved. June SEO trained the pilots to anticipate unpredictable attacks, and HFY studied the predator's energy patterns to find any exploitable weakness. Minsook coordinated the engineers to upgrade the defensive turrets, while Yuna maintained communications with nearby colonies, ensuring a network of support. The humans knew the predator would return stronger and smarter. They had learned from their first encounters and adapted. Every citizen of the colony played a role. Even civilians contributed, preparing supplies, monitoring systems, and supporting the fleet's readiness. Unity and courage became the colony's greatest strength. When the Predator finally approached again, the humans were ready. Its massive form loomed near the outer orbit, energy radiating like a storm. It unleashed a barrage of energy waves toward the colony, testing defenses and measuring responses. The shields flared under the pressure, absorbing much of the assault. The humans responded swiftly, sending smaller ships to draw its attention and confuse its targeting systems. Jun Seo led a squadron of fighters, weaving through energy blasts with precise maneuvers. HFY provided calculations, predicting the Predator's movements with accuracy. "Left now," she shouted. "It's slowing its attack pattern. Fire everything on my mark." The squadron struck with coordinated precision, hitting weak points in the Predator's temporary energy stabilizations. Sparks and flashes erupted across its massive body, but it did not retreat. Instead, it adapted quickly, changing its attack strategies to counter the humans' methods. This only made the humans more determined. They anticipated the changes, reacting in ways the Predator could not fully predict. Min-Suk activated the upgraded turrets around the colony. Energy beams fired automatically at the Predator, targeting spots identified by HFY. Yuna coordinated communications, directing civilian ships to act as decoys and distractions. The Predator lashed out, trying to counter, but every move was met with strategy and unity. The battle raged across the void. Energy flares lit the darkness, showing the humans' courage and determination. For the first time, the apex Predator understood the value of strategy, teamwork, and adaptability. These small creatures were not just surviving, they were fighting back effectively, exploiting even the smallest weaknesses. Jun Seo piloted his ship with daring skill, drawing the Predator's attention while HFY guided the fleet. They aimed to exploit the brief moments when the Predator's energy flow stabilized. At the precise moment, every ship, every turret, and every weapon fired in unison. Energy struck the Predator's weak points, causing it to stagger. The Predator roared, a sound of frustration and surprise. Its massive body shimmered with the energy of repeated strikes. It had never faced prey that could coordinate so well, that could anticipate its every move, that could use creativity as a weapon. It realized that intelligence and courage could be more dangerous than raw strength. Even as the Predator attempted to retaliate, humans continued their attack, adjusting and adapting. They were fearless and unyielding. The Predator, despite its immense power, began to feel the strain. It had been challenged in ways it had never imagined. The humans' unpredictable tactics kept it on edge, forcing it to react instead of act freely. Finally, the Predator faltered, retreating slightly from the assault. It hovered near the edge of the battle, observing. For the first time, it felt a strange sense of caution, even fear. Humans had shown it that size and strength were not the only measure of power. Unpredictability, unity, and courage were weapons just as dangerous. Back on the colony, the humans did not celebrate too soon. They knew the Predator had learned from them as well. Every encounter had taught it something new. Jun Seo and HFY gathered the fleet for a debrief, analyzing every move, every strike, every moment the Predator faltered. HFY spoke, her voice calm but firm. "We have learned its patterns, but it has learned ours. The key now is to stay unpredictable. We must keep innovating and staying ahead." Min-Suk nodded, already planning new upgrades. "We can enhance our weapons and shields further. Every system will have redundancies. Every pilot will be trained for adaptive maneuvers." Yuna added, "I've strengthened communications with nearby colonies. If the Predator returns with full force, we can call for reinforcements immediately." Junseo looked out at the stars, knowing the battle was far from over. Humans have never backed down from impossible odds. We won't start now. We will face it, no matter what it throws at us. The apex Predator retreated into the void, its mind processing the human's behavior. It had faced countless species, but these humans were unique. They were fearless, adaptable, and strategic. It had felt resistance, and that resistance had forced it to adapt. For the first time, it had experienced a kind of fear, not physical, but intellectual and tactical. It knew it could not underestimate humanity. As the colony prepared for the next encounter, every human understood the lessons learned. Unity, courage, and ingenuity were their greatest weapons. Even in the face of a being that had conquered galaxies, they had held their ground. And far away, the apex predator realized that the humans were not just survivors, they were challengers, a force even it feared. The apex predator moved silently in the dark expanse, its immense form gliding between distant stars. It had never felt hesitation before, yet the humans of Goryo Prime had forced a new sensation into its consciousness. Their courage, ingenuity, and unity had challenged it in ways no species ever had. For the first time, it reconsidered its place in the galaxy. These humans were not mere prey, they were a threat. Back on Goryo Prime, the colony was vigilant. The humans had repaired and upgraded every vessel and weapon system. The citizens had trained, studied, and prepared for the inevitable return of the apex predator. Jun Seo led the fleet with calm determination. HFY provided constant analysis of potential threats. Min-suk oversaw the technical readiness of every ship and defense system, and Yuna maintained communication with surrounding colonies to ensure a network of support. When the predator reappeared on the outskirts of the system, it was cautious. Its attacks were measured, each move deliberate, testing the humans' defenses without fully committing to an assault. But humans had anticipated this approach. They were ready, their formations flexible, their defenses adaptive. Every energy wave from the predator was met with calculated resistance. Junasio piloted his ship boldly through the predator's energy pulses, weaving through the onslaught with skill. HFY guided the fleet, predicting the predator's moves and timing strikes to exploit brief weaknesses in its energy shields. Min-suk's upgraded weapons fired with precision, targeting critical points, while Yuna coordinated civilian ships to act as decoys, further confusing the apex predator. The predator, for the first time, faced an opponent that refused to yield. Its attacks were met with strategy, intelligence, and courage. The humans fought not out of desperation, but with confidence and unity. Every move was coordinated, every strike meaningful. They were a force unlike any it had encountered. Despite its immense power, the predator began to feel strain. Its body shimmered from repeated strikes, its movements cautious and measured. It had expected fear, surrender, and chaos, but instead it found skill, bravery, and unpredictability. The humans forced it to rethink every instinct, every assumption about prey and predator. Jun Seo saw the predator falter, and he seized the opportunity. He directed the fleet into a coordinated assault, using every weapon, every tactic, every advantage they had developed. HFY's calculations were flawless, predicting the predator's adaptive responses, while Min-suk's modifications ensured maximum efficiency. Yuna's communications allowed every ship to act as one cohesive unit. Energy beams struck weak points simultaneously, experimental weapons hit critical spots, and the predator staggered under the combined assault. For the first time, it hesitated, feeling the unfamiliar sensation of fear. It had underestimated the humans' ingenuity and unity. They were unpredictable, relentless, and intelligent. They were a force that even the apex predator, the most feared being in the universe, could not easily conquer. The predator made a final, cautious retreat, moving beyond the outer reaches of Goryo Prime. It observed the humans from a distance, processing their resilience and determination. It had been challenged, tested, and forced to adapt. And it had survived, but it would never underestimate humanity again. Back on the colony, the humans celebrated cautiously. They had survived the deadliest threat in the galaxy, and they had proven their courage, intelligence, and unity. Jun Seo, HFY, Min-suk, and Yuna reflected on the battles fought and the lessons learned. Humanity had faced the impossible and had not only survived, but had also taught the universe that they were not to be underestimated. Junicio looked out at the distant stars, feeling pride and determination. "We faced the deadliest predator in the universe," he said quietly, "and we survived. Humans are stronger than anyone gives them credit for. We have proven it." Heywan nodded. "It's not just strength, but unity and intelligence that make us dangerous. We fought together, and that made the difference." Minsuk smiled, adjusting a console. "Our ingenuity saved us. We built, adapted, and acted together. The predator will think twice before returning." Yuna added, "And we will be ready if it does. Humanity will never back down, no matter the challenge." Far away, the apex predator moved silently, observing the humans, feeling the impact of their courage and unpredictability. It realized that in the vast universe, there were forces even it must respect. It had faced countless species, conquered galaxies, and been feared across the stars, but humans were unique. They were intelligent, adaptable, fearless, and united. They were a force to be reckoned with. The predator would never forget the humans of Goryeo Prime. They had shown that even the smallest species could challenge the mightiest predator, that courage and ingenuity could triumph where raw strength might fail. Humanity had proven that they were not just survivors, they were a force even the apex predator feared. And so, in the quiet after the battle, the humans of Goryeo Prime prepared for the future. They knew the universe held more dangers, more threats, and more challenges. But they also knew that together, with courage, intelligence, and unity, they could face whatever came next. The apex predator had been humbled, and humanity had grown stronger. The stars were theirs to explore, and the universe had learned that even the deadliest predator feared the indomitable spirit of humanity.